Didn't know if we would be recording this ever again. And here we are, sitting here, cutting a promo, not doing an interview, not answering questions, not talking about whatever someone wants me to talk about. I'm cutting a promo here for the GeekVerse Gauntlet. And that's what I am. I've hit record, I'm letting it rip. That's what you get from me, you know? And that's why I am more prepared, I think, for the rest of them, because some of them may have missed the Gauntlet. Some of them may have thought, oh yeah, I'd like to do that again. They don't crave the Gauntlet like I have. The Gauntlet has been gone for 1,094 days. And I'll get to some other stuff, why that number has stuck with me for a very long time. But I am here to do what I do best. Some things have changed, sure. I'm more busy. I got more responsibilities. It's always been like that, right? But I got even more so to be weighing on the shoulders to keep me down. So that's something that, of course, can always play in these things. But as far as gameplay-wise, I'm always right where I usually was. Right in the middle. I'm probably a little better in some aspects than I used to be back then. But right in the middle. Never the worst. Never the best. Sometimes maybe the most versatile in video games. But what happens? Where I get them, where I beat them, where they don't want to admit it. But you can look at the clip of every person I've played in the Gauntlet in the past has been a little rattled. But what's up here? And that's where I've always been better than the rest. And that's the thing. I have, since I came back, I said, I'm wearing this jacket. And this jacket, I came back and I said I was going to be a better person. Going to try better, be nicer. Be more kosher, be less aggressive with people, right? But I can't do that here. That's my biggest strength. It's always been my biggest strength. I have to become who many people hate. I have to become who many people unsubscribe to the channel. I have to become the person that many people will be, after taping, annoyed, mad at me, wouldn't talk to me for a couple weeks. I had to become the person that Taylor's parents hated when they watched me on stream, like, who the fuck is this guy? Because, yeah, that's who I am. That's what I bring to the GeekVerse Gauntlet. I'm Travis fucking Snail. That's what I do here. So what's changed? Nothing this go around. The other stuff, try to put it past. It's not personal. It's all business. I hope the geeks are ready for that. I hope they're ready to go back into it. We've had a nice 3 calm years of just chilling, being friends. But there's no friends. This shit is serious this time. Alright? Who am I most looking forward to seeing this weekend? Dylan, I would love to verse him in a match where I get the advantage and just squash him. Just embarrassing him like he used to embarrass me. Those first 2 rounds in the tournament, I get it, right? Playing games I've never played before, hate playing, yeah, real tough guy. But then boom, when I had to, beat him for the title. Saris, luckily, I've always beat that man. He's never beaten me. So maybe that gives him a little extra motivation, but I'd love to put a little notch there. Taylor, I'll get to. Kirkland is the man I want to meet the most. It's random. Don't know what's going to happen. May have to wait another year. But I'm sick and tired of chasing this guy. He won the title. He got to be the last GeekVerse Gauntlet champion. Congratulations. That's a title. That's a legendary spot I wanted. And no matter what happens, sure, he's defending the belt this weekend, but he always had that. In that first season, he'll be the last GeekVerse Gauntlet champion. And congratulations to him. I accept my loss. And that was it. But now, I've had to reopen Pandora's bottle. I've had to go back and think about it. With GV Day, with the leading up here, seen a lot of clips. And I beat him 2-0. That first match embarrassed him. You go back and watch. Madden, UFC, crushed him. And then after that, we've had nothing but super close matches. Some of the best matches of Gauntlet history. And he's one up top every single time. Triple threats, the 1v1s, all of it, right? And that stinks. I am tired of being the chaser. I am tired of hearing about him being the last champion. I'm tired of, sure, the league ended, but he never had to defend that. He sat in the background and waited for all of us to pick each other apart. And again, kudos to him. But to me, that's a coward's act. And the thing about Kirkland Patzer is he's never felt this heat before. He's always liked to be Switzerland, in the middle, off the sidelines, keeping to himself, right? But this time, he's under the heat. Everybody is gunning for him. He's like to play Switzerland before. He's like to be on the sidelines, stay out of the equations, not get his... And that's the thing about Kirkland. In the past, he's loved to be Switzerland. Stay off to the side, stay out of the drama, the controversy, all that, right? Pick the bones. But he can't this time. He's the reigning, defending last GeekVerse Gauntlet champion. All the targets, all the heat is going to be on his ass, and I don't think he can take it, and I want to be the one to take him down. I want to beat him. I want to beat him so bad that next year he's talking about me. And that man, he had an eagle before. And here's the thing. Everybody else did their promos, their interviews before. You know? Promote everything. Tell people what we're thinking. Get the word out there. GeekVerse Gauntlet's back. The champion himself, too lazy or didn't care enough to do it. That's one thing. People might not like my attitude, but when I'm the champion, when I'm the fucking champion, I'm out there, my face out there, it's plastered, I'm promoting, I'm talking about why you should be here, why you should watch, why it's some of the best content on the internet. He don't care. He's just there to happy to get a win. So, I would love to be the one to do it, but if it's not me, it's going to be somebody else. Now, Taylor, you know, Wolf Order for life. We've recently put that back together. We put our differences aside, and the Wolf Order started in GeekVerse Gauntlet. I was chairman, he was a player. We won multiple championships that season. We were the last ever teams champion. We ran that season. Season 2, most watched season because of us, because of the Wolf Order and what we brought to it. And we're back together. And I actually don't want to play him, really. We are in a good spot. We had that wrestling match. And I just worry if we play each other again, how the breakup happened and kind of facilitated and kept going could reemerge itself. I hope not. I hope if I have to play him, the Wolf Order stays the same. I hope if I dip back into this personality and find this inner Travis that I stay the same after. I can tell everybody it's entertainment and fun and we can shake hands and have a good time. But things have changed. In the past, and I don't want them to change in the future. So I would hope to not actually verse Taylor Field, but if that's what it's gonna come down to, if it's him on one side and me on the other side, and he comes around that corner, and I gotta put him down, I will not hesitate. Not for a second. Mystery opponents. Good thing is I get to know the mystery opponents because I'm the chairman, so I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. And what would it mean to win this? It would mean a lot. I'm not the person that's won the most. I'm not the person with the most titles. I did win all the titles first ever person to win the main title, sports title, teams title, whatever. I digress. Nothing to brag about there. No one talks about that. Won the main title, sports title, teams title. Held the teams title with 2 different partners. I don't actually think anyone can say that. 2-time world champion. I had the best stats of the tournament, but the problem is I could never close it. That's the only thing, the one and only thing. Even Kirkland, to beat him, that's getting some revenge. That's getting some long years built up of, man, he's had my number. But at the end of the day, I can still say I beat him. I became the first ever sports champion. I can say that I beat him. But I cannot say I won a tournament. I finished second twice. I finished third another time. That tournament that Kirkland won was to beat me in a he got a fucking blue shell. Oh, look at the skill of that guy, right? He got a blue shell. Whew. So I should have already been a winner. But maybe that's good. Maybe I need the pressure. Maybe I need that angst. Maybe I need one more thing to accomplish to bring this part of me out, to bring this demon out of me, because maybe I just would feel I've accomplished it all. But it would mean a lot. It would be that last kind of gauntlet thing off my back to win a gauntlet tournament. It's very tricky. Has a lot of luck. Games are random. You don't know who you're playing. You don't know what you're playing. There's bets. It could go anyway. So it's very tough. As we let this car pass by as they ruin my promo. Just like many other people try to do in the past, but I would just talk over them, and they'd get annoyed because they go, "Oh man, like how does Travis just have a clip for everything, and how does he have a comeback yet?" Guess I'm just born this way, you know. So let's go. So, GeekVerse Gauntlet, the GeekVerse Gauntlet Cup, to be exact, right? It's gonna be big because anybody that wins this tournament is going to make history. The two mystery people, to give you some of that, and obviously I think we now know Saris is one of them. They've never won a tournament. Myself and Taylor have never won a tournament. If Dylan or I were to win, because we're counting the Gauntlet Cup, the equivalent of a championship, that would be the third time for myself or him. That would be history breaking. We are tied at 2, me and Dylan, for world championships. Kirkland would win and, to me, defend a title for the first time. There's a lot of firsts that are going to happen. And I did not get to be the last GeekVerse Gauntlet champion, but I will be the first GeekVerse Cup winner. And I'm looking very forward to seeing you all there. Get ready, because it's the GeekVerse fucking Gauntlet.
You know, a lot of people have asked me when I'm walking around the street, when I'm in the middle of an interview, you know, Dylan, what type of player are you nowadays when it comes to the Gauntlet compared to when that thing started? And, you know, I think the biggest thing for me is that time has passed, right? The Gauntlet, I can't remember when exactly it started, but it was an early GeekVerse thing. And as many people know, we celebrated our 10-year anniversary this year. I'm not the same guy I was back then. I'm a lot different. My mind has changed. I've aged a lot. My reaction time is a whole lot worse. And I think, you know, when I think back to that time in my life, I was going to Melee tournaments all the time. When I wasn't in Melee tournaments, I was playing Counter-Strike or Overwatch or Heroes of North, all these competitive online games. All the games I was consuming at the time was all competitive stuff. And so it's easy for me to take those ideas, the mentalities of learning and growth and learning techniques and technical skill, and translate that to all the crazy hectic games we play in the Gauntlet. That's not who I am anymore. I'm jaded, a little bit faded. I'm just a simple single-player gamer these days for the most part, and so I'm just not being brushed up on those skills as much. So I'm very different, and I think I've hopefully that also comes with a little bit of wisdom. But I definitely think in terms of the technical element, I'm not quite the gamer and player I was back then. But that's okay. I have evolved. I think I've changed. And I think I still have a good shot, even if I don't have those same skills I once had. Who am I most looking forward to face off in the tournament? I think the answer for me here, it's got to be one Kirkland Patzer, because I just can't think off the top of my head of an iconic match between the two of us. You know, I think early on in the Gauntlet is when I found the most success. And then at some point I stepped back, took a hiatus. I went behind the microphone, became the commentator, the voice of the Gauntlet. And that's when Kirkland really rose to prominence, and mostly through the sports title. And that was not really ever my realm. So I think our paths just never really crossed. I'm sure we've had some matches over the years, but I just can't really recall any. When I think about Taylor, when I think about Travis, we have many iconic matches over the years, big moments, things I can think back on. So I feel like me and Kirkland are due for a nice face-off here. I know we did chess last year on the stream, but I think we really need a nice, good Gauntlet match to just, I don't know, feel each other out. I think that's such a fun part about the Gauntlet, is you really just get in each other's heads. And I kind of want that. I think it's time for me and Kirkland to have a big showdown. Do I think that I'll be seen as a big target, as I've kind of been the most winning player in the Gauntlet history? I think so, but I think for the most part, a lot of the players, I think everyone really focuses on what is that next match? That's what they're focused on. And so I don't know. I just think when we have a small pool of players who are all very competitive, you kind of got to be wary of everyone. And like I said, it's been a while since I kind of had that early win early on. I've had a couple over the years since then for sure. But I think it's a little bit different these days. And I think maybe I'm not as seen as a big of a threat as I once was, just because I've been away from it for so long. But I think if anyone is sleeping on me, is not really thinking of me as a threat, that's going to be their big issue. So if they're thinking about someone else as their top dog, that's good for me. And I kind of want it to be that way. I'd like to lay low a little bit and then just come in with a surprise attack. I think that's a good game plan for me. How do you prepare for mystery opponents? And I'm going to even expand that. Like, how do you prepare for mystery games? I think that's a big part of the Gauntlet. We have a lot of games in there, which are just deep games of skill, games that both players are expert on. But so much of the Gauntlet is you're being thrown in a game that you maybe don't know super well, or you've at least not played it in like a 1v1 competitive setting. And so that changes things dramatically in terms of the strategy, the kind of things you have to employ to get a victory. And that's the same with players too. You don't really know exactly who you're going to face up against. It depends who they beat, who they lose to. And so you might be facing off people you weren't expecting and in games you're not expecting. So I think you got to be quick on your feet. You can try and prepare, but there's so many different games that could show up, so many different opponents you could have. You can't plan for every permutation. And I think a good thing is, though, you got to be observant. When they're playing their other games, like let's say it's a round 1, I'm facing off against Travis. Maybe round 2 comes around, now I'm up against Taylor. But if I was watching Taylor's previous match against Kirkland or someone, maybe I can get into his head a little bit. What was Taylor thinking? What set him off? What pissed him off? Can I do those same things? Or what are the things that he kind of pulled out of Kirkland that he was able to beat? Maybe I can kind of avoid some of those things. So I think it's good to be observant of everyone. And, when it's a mystery opponent, you can only do so much. But really just take it slow it down. I think people get really jittery. They get really excited and they want to go do everything fast. But I think sometimes it's good to just slow the pace down. Whatever their pace is that they're going, change it. If they're really slow, maybe you got to go really fast. Maybe if they're really fast, you got to go really slow. I think that's just a good general rule of thumb that I try and aim to do. And how would it feel if I won, making GeekVerse Gauntlet history, holding the title for a third time? I think it would feel really good, just because, as I said at the very beginning, the first question there, just I'm not the guy I once was. I don't think I have just that crazy confidence. I remember going to that first Gauntlet tournament. It was long. There was many rounds. All sorts of different games were thrown in there. Some I was prepped for, others I weren't, and by weren't I mean wasn't. And I think I was prepared for that kind of thing. I could go up against anyone, no matter what the situation was, what the game was. And I don't really have that anymore. Like, I think I've definitely seen over the years some pitfalls. Like, if I get thrown into Conquest, I won't be confident in doing that one, just because the randomness has taken me before. Randomness and a bit of skill, for sure. And so I think there's certain games that can maybe throw me off. But, I think it would feel good if I can prove myself. And maybe if I do get thrown into Conquest, and if I can get that victory, that's going to feel good. It's going to be a nice redemption moment. So I think even if I don't win, it's still so much fun to jump in there, do some commentary, see these matches, have the big moments. But yeah, making history is something not everyone gets to do in their lifetime. And so that's something that definitely on my list of goals, my bucket list. And as the first GeekVerse Gauntlet champion, I want to be the first 3-timer as well. The only thing I'm fine losing at is like the sports title. That's fine. That's not really my bag. I don't think I have any pride when it comes to that. But even teams, I really like working on a team with someone else. So any other belt, I got to be there, give it my best, give it my all, try my hardest, and prove that I am the best that the GeekVerse Gauntlet has ever had and ever will have.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Taylor Field here, ready for my GeekVerse Gauntlet interview. Now, first question. What type of player do you think you'll be compared to when the Gauntlet started? What type of player? Endearing, hardworking, and probably a loser. There's a lot of that going on. I'd say that's the type of player I was, that I could be compared to. But if we're being specific, and I'm actually compared to one of the other players, well, I can't be, because everyone else won. So I think that's how I would answer that question. Number 2, so again, I've never won a Gauntlet tournament, woe is me. Worst stats in a tournament. Just that's 2 for 2. Whoa, El Double. How do I prepare for that? You don't really prepare for it. You just you get slapped in the face and you walk it off, ready to conquer the world again. But you get slapped in the other direction this time, and it just really kicks you down. So you dust yourself off, you get back up, and then all of a sudden you're being slapped both sides of the face at the same time. So we'll see how this goes. But you gotta stay on top of your game. You just can't let things bring you down. You gotta stay focused. Who am I most wanting to face off against in this tournament? There's a whole bunch of great guys in this roster. They work hard. They play hard. They do lots of things involving hardness, and it's hard for me to pick someone to share that work hardness ethic with, and that play hardness with. So who I want to face off against most? Kirkland, I've had my ups and downs. Travis, I've had my ups, and I think Dylan is the sneak. He sneaks in there. You think you got it on this game, and the man just comes out. No modded controller. It's like he grows like a sixth finger on both his hands and just starts just going playing magic with that controller and just will school you. So I'd like to take him head on and drop a best of on him potentially. So we'll see. Now, this next one, this is a intimate question. How am I feeling having to potentially face off against my reunited Wolf Order teammate? Me and Travis, we've been through thins and we've been through thicks, and it's an established order that is the Wolf, and we've gone through a lot. So to be facing off against him, I want that belt. That's all I'll say. I want that belt. That's what I really, really want. So no emotions, no feelings, no hard feelings. So how do you prepare for any mystery opponents? Now, Travis got me one time before with a mystery opponent. Well, maybe two. One was Ruben, and that really caught me off guard because I just wasn't expecting it. Ruben is Ruben, and Ruben was there. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah. And the other time, it wasn't really a surprise, but I was tricked into playing Smash Bros. Melee against a supposed Pan Solo, but we all know who Pan Solo's real identity is. Anyways, I digress. It was just an absolute nightmare, and I got absolutely cremated. So there's that. I don't know how anyone could be prepared for mystery opponents. I mean, I could be doing my thing, and then all of a sudden S-Bubs could just walk into the living room and be like, oh fuck, are we going to town on Fortnite, bud? And I'm just gonna get absolutely decimated. So you can't anticipate the chairman's madness and what he's doing. You just can't. But I digress. So how would I feel to win a tournament finally? I mean, like, how do you put the words into my mouth to even state such a thing, right? Like, to win my first tournament, I've won a few other things, and those things, they got their own merits. But when it comes to a tournament, it's always a demerit. I don't want those demerits anymore. I want the merits. I want the up merits, not the demerits. So just to win it would be amazing. I could come home as a respectable father and husband to my wife and my child. They would look at me in a new light and think, you know what? This fucking guy right here, he's fucking hard. So I'm going to give it my all. I look forward to facing off against my opponents and competitors, and best of luck to you all.